Go all the way back, right back to the start. There at the centre, the core and the heart of the work of our God is the act of creation, worthy of all of our focused attention and deserving a rapturous standing ovation from man and from woman, from nation to nation. The Spirit's great work of making all things, from earwigs to elephants and creatures with wings. This God is the God of new starts and beginnings. Throughout the Old Testament days of God's story, the tales of his people, inspiring and gory, include a real problem with badness and evil, wrongness all over like a plague medieval, and God thought there's almost no hope of retrieval. I'll flood the whole earth, there will be some upheaval. Noah, his missus, their sons with their wives saw the world was renewed. God saved their lives. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings. Several years later, a journey began as God said to Abram, set out from Haran, I've got a plan, and it all starts with you. A great nation will grow through what I will do. Then Jacob and Joseph and Moses came through, and the promise he made came utterly true. He gathered them all, and all Egypt's money. They were promised land bound, where it's all milk and honey. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings. Now, God keeps his promises, Israel knew, but they kept on forgetting their worship who's who. They praised other gods with various faces. They built awful and weird and strange sacred spaces. They did horrible things in all kinds of places. So God let them be conquered by powerful races of people who took them away from the land. Before God brought them back by his powerful hand. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings. Years later, there's Mary and Joseph who heard God's plans through some angels who told them his word, and Jesus was born. This was God as humanity, a saviour of mystery, kindness and sanity. He said things his enemies thought were profanity. He did things that launched the idea of Christianity. Jesus healed and he taught folks. He loved and forgave them. He told them he was there for the sick and the poor just to save them. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings. Jesus was arrested and tortured and killed. His purpose was selfless. His sweat, love distilled. An innocent man, he was killed on a cross, and in about 40 hours he showed death who was boss. He showed up to his mates, which left them as a loss, and the gap between humanity and God, he stepped right across. And almost immediately, within a few weeks, God's Spirit is working, and it's Peter who speaks. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings. People hear the good news. It's forgiveness for all. Thousands are hearing and answer the call. For some, they feel like their brains have been fried. For others, it's like they are surfing the tide. And that good news keeps going so far and so wide. The church spreads the message. You can live life untied. A new start is here for each one of us, not earned, just a gift, like a whole life A+. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings. But our future is not just a personal thing. God saves us to share his life-giving spring of water, to be there for each other's needs, to show Jesus' mercy to different creeds, to work as a church and to tell of his deeds, to walk his direction, to go where he leads. And as we look back at the journey we've made, we also look forward, and we're not afraid. This God is a God of new starts and beginnings.